So I have a confession to make. I used to be a speed demon. Yes. Anybody who knows me at all um, knows that I drove quickly. In fact, I still get hits on that idea from my family who find like are questioning about my driving ability. I promise you, I was never unsafe except for speed. I didn't swerve in and out of things of cars, and in fact, my family about 3 months ago we were driving here in San Antonio, and two motorcyclists swerved right in front of us, and they were driving very recklessly. And one of them, like 50 feet in front of us, major accident. He did walk away from the crash, and so that wasn't me, but I did drive very quickly. And little story for you. So I was once in Cleveland. That's where I grew up, Cleveland, Ohio, and there was a um, there was a section of a just a neighborhood that I was in where it was Cedar Road actually, where I was driving. I think it was 35 miles an hour. That's what was posted. I think I was going 36, and it switched to 25. And but 200 feet away, a cop was right there, and he nailed me. I think it was over $100 ticket at the time, which was a lot of money. I was really, really mad about it. I said, man, if I'm going to speed, I'm going to earn it. That's fine. I'm going to go. So this actually became a thing in my head. And I got caught in this idea. If you're going to speed, find a buddy. You might have a speed buddy, right? You might have heard of it. But what would end up happening was I would get 3 tickets in a period of 6 months, not including that one there. And this was because I was really trying to earn it, trying to go get it. Right. There was one time I was on my way up from Cleveland to Wisconsin to visit a friend, and got a ticket somewhere probably an hour and a half outside of Cleveland. I was like, all right, well, whatever. I'm still going, because I was going at probably about 15 over. And I'm still going to take my trip. So I'm going, and I get in touch with some speed buddies, and we're going up a hill. I mean, we're going over 100 miles an hour. I mean, we are flying, and there's like 3 or 4 of us, and I'm in the back of them. We're flying over this thing. We get to the hill crests, and what happens is we find there's like at least 17 cop cars, lights all on, had pulled a bunch of other people on, pulled a bunch of people off the road, but we just slow down radically, and none of us get a ticket. By the grace of God, I probably would have probably maybe faced jail time or something like that. My guardian angel was watching out for me, and but still, I would travel up to Wisconsin, still speeding. I think I would get another ticket there, and then there was another ticket again within a 6-month period. So I realized this is stupid and expensive. So I would slow things down. I wouldn't go as fast there. I still would go about 10 miles over, 12 miles. It was 12 miles over on the freeway, 7 miles over on city streets. And I said, why those speeds? Just because I had decided it for myself. And it wasn't until my men's counsel. See, if you don't have a group of people, a group of men, gentlemen, or a group of ladies, women, my sisters, to help guide you, right? Especially guys, right? We're impulsive sometimes, or we just want to do things because I can. We're going to get ourselves into trouble. So good friend Robert, he's my men's counsel, and this is about 2 years ago. As we're talking, he says, Steve, go the speed limit. I thought to myself, no, I can't go the speed limit. So I was just honest with them, right? As I like to say, God can always work with honesty and humility. Well, I get in my car, and I hear this very familiar voice, right? When we spend time in prayer, we can get used to knowing what is the voice of God. And that voice says to me, go, Stephen, go 2 over. Like, okay. So I've been doing that highway and on side streets. And do you know what? I haven't got a ticket. Don't have to worry about where the cops are, having that, heart palpitation, like, oh my gosh, And I haven't, you know what? The world hasn't ended. It's been okay. I've been all right. And my life's actually gone well. And in fact, because I'm driving this way, right, I'm finding that I'm getting to my destination probably close to on time, maybe even beforehand. Because sometimes when I would speed, like I'd have a traffic light, another one, another one, another one. And when I'm going, just say it's a 35 mile an hour posted sign, I'm going 37, and I kind of just breeze through those lights. I've had it happen several times. And I'm able to calm down and actually able to take in my surroundings, able to just be present to that. Now, I'm not just here to talk about my speeding life in my car. I also want to talk about my speeding life with pornography. See, I used to be hooked on porn for over 12 plus years. I'm the founder of Freedom Coaching, freedom-coaching.net, and been doing that for over 15 years. And we got a team involved. But again, I think there's a connection here between speeding and pornography use. And I want to drive our conversation here to have that conversation, and then post some ideas, like especially if we've been involved with pornography and it's kind of taking over our life, what we can do about this. So, good, just 10 ideas here. First, how's the connection? Well, there's a dopamine reward loop. See, both these behaviors of fast driving and pornography use, they strongly activate the brain's reward system through the release of dopamine. Okay, remember, if you don't know anything about this, dopamine is that reward chemical. It's motivation. It's achieving goals. And as been, you may have heard this phrase, it's not so much the pursuit of pleasure, but the pleasure of pursuit. And so speeding provides an adrenaline rush, right? There's a go, go, go. I'm going to see what I can accomplish. Actually, I remember back when I was in grad school with a friend of mine, I saw this thoroughfare of about, it was probably a mile, and it was a slight incline going downward. And I wanted to see how fast my car could go. I think I was driving a Honda Civic at the time, and I think it got to over 120. Which is pretty awesome. I kind of felt that thing try to leave the ground a little bit, right? A little nerve-wracking. Wind wasn't too bad, and there definitely weren't any cops. Didn't get a ticket on that one. But I was like, when I get to 120, I'm like, nah, I think I'm good here. I think I'm good. All right. So with pornography, what we find is this can provide sexual stimulation, right, with dopamine. And this increased exposure trains our brain to seek the same stimulation over and over again. What we find is with the way in which the brain is structured, there are dopamine receptors, and when that hits the chemical hits that dopamine receptor, it feels good. Oh, I do it again. Oh, again. Oh, but what happens is those receptors don't grow; they actually shrink, and this is what we find is. We need to escalate this over time. See, those who are involved with these kind of behaviors of speed demons and also pornography users, they need more intensity to try to feel the same excitement. So those who are driving, they may push to higher speeds or riskier maneuvers. Take those two motorcyclists who are weaving in and out of between our cars and other cars in the freeway. And this is a Sunday morning, by the way, I forgot to mention. If it was higher, a lot more traffic, could be even worse, right? And the guy's motorcycle, actually, I think it was like a Yamaha, little, not too expensive a motorcycle, just kind of exploded. His muffler went off the highway. Thank God. And I think he was going over 90, and he probably hit the wall at about 65 miles an hour. So pushing the higher, because I assume it didn't start at that, but build up because he gets confidence. And actually, I'm bored with that level of speed of going 60 miles an hour. I want to go 70. It's not enough. I want to go 80, escalating more and more. Well, with pornography, the users may seek out more extreme or novel content. What would you used to start with? Maybe it was just a newspaper ad, or maybe a magazine ad, and that's not enough, right? I want to see a still image online, and now I want to see multiple images, and that's not enough. And I want to see videos of this, but this isn't enough. And don't want to see just her. I want to see her involved with somebody and couples. And then moving down the line is what I'm getting online isn't enough. And what I find is I want to get involved with people in real life, maybe prostitution. This is where we find, especially getting to child exploitation material, of guys getting involved with this. In a recent interview that I saw with Tim Tebow, and he showed up a map of 110,000 different unique connections. This is over 1 month in the United States of child exploitation material on private servers. And if that's just happening with child exploitation material, what's happening in other ways? And so what we're finding is, and it's not everybody who uses pornography gets into that, but it's a serious escalation that can happen. The next we find here is this impulsivity and risk-taking, which kind of builds on the other one, right? Both of these behaviors are linked with impulse personality traits and a higher tolerance for risk, right? The idea is, yeah, I've heard of accidents, or I've heard of people getting caught watching pornography. It'll never happen to me, which is a flawed thinking. It's a bias that only happens to other people. But what happens is, when it does happen, sometimes we're so far out of control that we do some serious damage. Fourth is the short-term pleasure versus long-term consequences. I mean, both of speed demons and also of pornography users, they're producing the idea of immediate gratification. And the likelihood here is of serious long-term problems. Obviously, with speeding, we can get accidents. There can be, we're causing injury here to maybe myself and also to others, and also find ourselves maybe getting our license taken away for a while. Maybe if somebody gets killed, right? That can be considered vehicular homicide or manslaughter, right? Those can have major legal penalties here. With pornography users, right, those who are using this they think in the privacy of their own bedroom, guess what? It doesn't just affect them. It affects other ones, because what it's doing, it's stealing life off of other people. It's keeping them from entering into using that time well to be involved with the life of other people around here. And what it does here, as we find it, we mentioned the shrinking brain phenomenon with dopamine and dopamine receptors, right? This compulsive behaviors, because what happens is there's actually another chemical that's there called delta phos B. Well, delta phos B programs us to let's remember this so we can do it again. Because with what we find with pornography use, the people who use pornography, they're not doing this because it feels good. In fact, it was usually a start to address a certain stress or anxiety or boredom, things like this. And then they use it once, and the behavior with pornography and masturbation, it gets linked here. And then the brain tells us, let's remember, this is how I'm going to deal with this. So this creates that compulsive behavior. And remember, the things that we're watching on the screen, it's being imprinted in our brain. There's a phrase from that's been said in the past for raising kids: be careful, little eyes, what you see; be careful, little ears, what you hear. And what we see, what we watch, what we listen to, the things that we speak, we're creating neural pathways. And we do those things, the things we usually follow, because rationally we think it's good for us, perhaps, but B, it feels good or comforting. And we're doing these things, we're involved in this behavior, but what it's doing, it's creating unrealistic expectations. If I'm programmed, I'm watching all these women doing all these things and all these videos, when I get into a real relationship with somebody who's not interested in pornography at all, or there's no way they can live up to that, right? Because just take one instance of time-wise. Pornography shows these videos of people doing things for hours and hours sometimes. But usually in the real world, in a marriage, the action is not that long. And so we find ourselves also, if on the reverse is, we may enter into using pornography, there's masturbation, it's very quickly. And if a man's doing that, well, guess what? A man is like a Man is been described as being like a microwave. A woman is like a crock pot. There's a warming her up. There's being able to enter into this delicacy of this thing. And if a man is ready to go, right? And then there is, being frank, ejaculation that happens, then his wife is not going to be satisfied. And this is going to lead to major problems in the relationship because we're not tending to the needs of the other. We're not loving as the way that we should. Fifth here is desensitization. See, frequent exposure can dull our brain's response. So high-speed drivers may stop perceiving that normal driving speeds are stimulating. I know this for a fact, and I would get in front of or I'd get behind somebody and they're going 2 over the speed limit. Come on, I've got places to go. I'm most important here. And I try to get around them. And especially at times I forget people on the car with me. And so I'm like cutting around, going around, and then I weave back into into the lane, not cutting the other person off behind me, but because I'm developing this this pattern of being impulsive and being impatient. It's not a good driving experience. Same thing we can say, pornography doesn't form us to be great lovers. It actually forms us to be impatient people. And so heavy porn use can make real life intimacy feel less stimulating. And in fact, it is, because there's all these different chemicals that are stirred up in the brain. And pornography are the same chemicals that are stirred up with pornography, with pornography use. And what we find is the same, let me say that again, the same chemicals that are stirred up during healthy marital use are the same ones, same healthy marital behavior are the same ones that are stirred up with pornography use. And what this can do is make real life intimacy like, this is boring. You're not doing it for me. You don't interest me. You're not serving my needs. Well, in marriage, it is about a total giving of self, a giving of myself, especially in this most intimate act. And if that's what we've been focusing on, we're going to trying to get my needs met at the expense of the other person, we're going to be severely saddened and the relationship is going to suffer. Sixth here is there's reduced self-control. So when habits form around powerful rewards, the people find it harder to stop even when they know the risk. I've saw cops out today, but I got places to go. I'm going to go. Well, you're looking at a ticket or maybe worse. And, hey, maybe I'll look at porn in my cubicles. People are walking by, or maybe I'll masturbate in my second period of math class. Well, guess what? I've had both those clients in our time at Freedom Coaching. And maybe they know these things, but the urge hits them and they've got to scratch it and go for it. It causes major problems. There's also this idea of habit formation, right? Both of speed demons and of pornography use can become automatic behaviors triggered by cues. Where an empty highway, right? I see an empty highway. This is the urge to speed, not realizing there's a cop behind that billboard, or not realizing maybe there's an oil slick going to wipe out there. Well, then we have something when we get blasted. We call this bored, lonely, hungry, angry, apathetic, stressed, tired, turned on, emotional, and depressed, right? Those things, right? If those have been our programming, those are our cues that we get, that when I'm stressed, I pop on my phone, or I'm bored, I'm just going to go to that one video site that I know of. This is a programming that we have here. And the question is, it's not just what we're watching, but how are we watching, right? If we're spending all this time here, what about in real life? Something to pay attention to. Then we've got emotional escape. See, people sometimes use both behaviors of fast driving and pornography use to cope with stress, loneliness, frustration, anything on the blasted list. See, we're just kind of going. We think that those things in real life are not as exciting. So I want to get there. And that was my whole thing in my life, where I was so quick to get to my destination instead of realizing, just like the old phrase goes, life's a journey, not a destination. Enjoy the ride, be present. So I've got to wait a little while. So there's a traffic jam. Do I need to get mad about it? No, but that was the program I was getting it. See, with pornography, no one uses pornography because they feel good. They don't go in like, I'm gonna go and use this. I feel so happy right now, so fulfilled, so at peace that I need this other thing. No, it's because they're caught and blasted. This is what we're going for. Ninth, this distorted risk perception, where this repeated exposure to both behaviors of fast driving and pornography use, this can again this can make the danger seem less serious than they actually are. Right? I've driven this fast before, nothing's happened. Again, that's a fallacy. And this habit really isn't affecting my life, right? My wife won't really care, or I'll never get caught, or yeah, my wife's just not as interested here. I'll just get a divorce, and who cares? Except we forget, divorce for a man is like smoking a pack of cigarettes for a year. Your children are going to miss you. The children need you in the home. And why am I bringing up divorce here? It's because pornography use, serious pornography use, is one of the main contributing factors for divorce. Something to look at. And last here, there's an impact beyond us as an individual. Our modern world is programming us that it's all about us. So both of these behaviors can harm others, not just us who are engaging in them. I mean, speeding can injure our passengers, right? If you get into a car accident, or other drivers there, right? Also, think about the money. Let's say you get a ticket. It's about an average, probably about $250. That's money you're not going to spend on other things that could help and serve other people there, right? And pornography use can affect our spouses, can affect our relationships, and our expectations about human sexuality. And if you want to kill a relationship, bring your fantasy in that, because fantasy can be fun every once in a while, but it's got to be healthy fantasy. But if it's at the expense of other people, that's going to be damaging. And we were never meant to live in fantasy. We're meant to live in reality. So with all of these things, what we can say is there's going to eventually to be consequences. And I think for me, right, God was trying to get my attention. I still remember years ago, I was driving my way from Cleveland to Syracuse, and it was pretty snowy there. So much so that traffic was going to a crawl, and I was still speeding around, trying to get around things. And there was a guy who pulled up next to me. He's honking on his horn. He's like, he was so angry. I could read his body language. I know what he was saying. He's like, what are you doing? You're crazy. Slow down. You're going to hurt somebody. By the grace of God, I didn't. But it took many, many years to get a clue on this. So I think with all of us, right, what is that pain that we have? What is the hurt that we have? What are we longing for? Because life is not about how fast we get there. Life is about relationship. As Father Brian Bransfield has put it this way, he said that the meaning of life is not about acquiring pleasure quickly. That's what the pornify culture wants to say. It's about giving beauty slowly, unveiling beauty slowly. And then the other factor is maybe you've heard the acronym of TEAM. TEAM is together, everyone achieves more. And I like to add on to that, right? If you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go long, go together, right? So it's about being with others, because if we're just driving fast, other people are like, I can't follow you. You ever done that? I had somebody follow you in a car. Yeah, I've done it, but I've also driven way too fast that I lose those people, and those people don't appreciate it, right? So I've made life hard on other people, right? So same thing here, right? Our sexuality is the one aspect. I think biologically, we can eat by ourselves, we can listen to music by ourselves, but it's the human sexual gift, the gift of our sexuality, which is to bring two halves of humanity together and open them up to a third. It's always meant to be with another. That's what we're talking about here. So what do we do here? I want to give some ideas here, right? First off, listen to the promptings of the Holy Spirit. What's he trying to say to you? Maybe through this podcast, maybe just put a pause just for a second and ask these two questions, right? Number one, Jesus, what do you want me to learn here? Jesus, in this situation, what's in front of me here? And then second, Holy Spirit, What do you want me to do? These two prayers are super powerful. And again, the more we spend time with Jesus, the more we spend that quiet time, the more we're going to be able to recognize his voice and what he's calling us to. So on this here, I want to give to you 10 things that we're looking for. And in fact, because the pursuit of fast drive and the pursuit of pornography is especially pursuit for dopamine. And dopamine, again, is that excitement. But what we're really looking for is serotonin. Serotonin is calm, is peace. And whereas what we can find is in this, as much as we may be wanting excitement in our life, what we want is calmness. So I want to throw out 10 serotonin-inducing activities that can help you. First on the list is exercise, right? Activities, get outside, right? Walking, jogging, cycling, Pilates. Those things can boost serotonin production, and bring about release of endorphins. Endorphins make us feel good. Second, sunlight exposure. Okay, it can be said, right? Getting 15 to 30 minutes of natural sunlight every day helps the brain produce more serotonin and regulate mood. See, a lot of people are inside now. A lot of people are on their devices for hours and hours and hours at a time. And this is not healthy, because in all of humanity, we were never meant to be just stuck inside. We're meant, because we come from nature, we're meant to be out in nature. Go enjoy the sunlight. I know those in Cleveland may not have many options in some months. That's why I moved to Texas. But we can regulate that and supplement that with things like vitamin D3 and K2. They can really help that. But when there's sunlight out, get outside. Third are different meditation and mindfulness practices. Things like doing mindfulness practices, of prayer, of deep breathing exercises. These things can increase serotonin levels and reduce stress. That's a beautiful thing that we need in our life. Fourth is, what are you eating, right? And I encourage you to eat tryptophan-rich foods. What's that mean? What's tryptophan, right? This is where it helps produce serotonin naturally. And so good sources for this are eggs, cheese, turkey, tofu, salmon, nuts and seeds. All of those things. There certainly are other ones, but those can be very good. See, what we put into our body, if we don't view it as fuel, it's not going to do as much benefit for us. Next one is listen to music. This is a great way to increase serotonin, right? And again, pay attention to the kind of music. If we're getting heavy metal going or thrash metal or whatever, that's going to feed our dopamine. But what we want here is music that can help us calm down, right? So I love some movie soundtracks, classical music, right? Greek Orthodox chant, or just chant itself from the Gregorian chant. Those can be very relaxing. And in fact, if you want a good playlist to go to, check out the Redeemed Vision playlist. Some of those things I found right on YouTube. Type in music.youtube.com and put it on shuffle. You'll never run out of music. Then here is to spend time in nature. Yeah, this goes along with getting enough sunlight, but activities like hiking, walking in parks, gardening, these are linked to improved serotonin activity and can reduce anxiety. So the key phrase here is go touch grass. I think we spend way too much time on our devices. It's time to get back into what is real. Next is positive social interaction. Whereas social media, in many ways, how it's played off is we're at each other's throats, or we're scrolling, and we're not really building relationship. We're not entering into genuine good spaces. So this is where in the flesh, be with people. And if you don't know, know this, look in your own neighborhood, look at your various churches, look at your church, or look at, there are some places, I think Meetup, I don't know if it's meetup.com, but there's definitely an app for that can help you to connect with people in real life. And so I know things like also CrossFit, those are great gyms to get involved with people. It's going to require some risk. It's going to require putting ourselves out there. But this is really important because pornography, for instance, is about isolating. But the way to true fulfillment is to be in communio, community, to be with others. So this is where talking, laughing, spending time with friends or loved ones can elevate serotonin and also oxytocin, which is the bonding chemical. And again, if you don't think you have many friends, well, guess what? It's time to expand the network on this. Next one is gratitude practice, right? Writing down things you're grateful for daily use. This can improve our mood and support serotonin regulation. One of the first assignments we teach our clients at Freedom Coaching is to make a list of 100 items of which you are grateful for. Gratitude and blasted cannot live at the same house at the same time. And if we're focusing on gratitude, on the things there, the things that cause stress or anxiety or worry or boredom, right, or even arousal, those things can be put in their proper place. I realize that it's not so bad, that I can enter in and work through this. Why? Because I'm grateful. Ninth is massage or physical touch. Again, we want to do this in healthy ways, but certain things like massage therapy, hugging, physical touch in healthy, non-genital ways can simulate serotonin production and relaxation. See, I think many of us, we are so starved for attention and that we eroticize that. We seek out these things in pornography, but that's not going to be helpful at all in the case because we're trying to meet a genuine need in a way that just can't. So healthy touch, and this means if you want a friend, be a friend. So this might cause you to have to study, how do I be a friend, especially if most of my times being on a screen. Learning how to ditch that or severely reduce it is going to help in that front. And then last here, maybe it should have been number one, is quality sleep. See, maintaining consistent sleep and consistent sleep schedule, this helps to regulate serotonin and other mood-related neurotransmitters. We find in our nation, in our world, in fact, that people just aren't getting the sleep they're looking for, the sleep they need. And when we aren't at our best here, that we're going to find that things are going to suffer, right? And so a lot of people, they have their phone in their bedroom and they're watching pornography at night. Even their spouse is sleeping, right? And this is hours and hours into the night. It's totally stealing life. So ideally, most men, grown men, need between 7 to 8 hours of sleep. Women need between 8 to 9 hours of sleep, just the way that women and men are wired, right? And yes, there are going to be exceptions to that rule, but oftentimes we just need more sleep. So may we get the sleep that we need. So practical experience, actually, here's a practical solution. Get an alarm clock. There's this thing called Amazon. I know you don't have to buy from Amazon, by the way, but they sell things. And I don't care what it looks like. I don't care what it sounds like. Put this in your bedroom. And just like you need your sleep, your phone needs your sleep. Put your phone in the kitchen. Bury it by charging it there. And when you wake up the next day of getting your sleep, good things will happen. But by the way, if we've been interrupting our sleep with dopamine, things like that, it may be hard to adjust there. Stick with it. It's going to be worth it. It will work out here, right? And last thing I would say about this whole perspective is we were never meant to do this on our own, right? If you're struggling here with an attachment to pornography, especially because you've been feeding the dopamine, we may need more help. And this, what I shared here, is just the tip of the iceberg of the work we do at Freedom Coaching, where we work one-to-one with both men and women through a transformation of mind, heart, and vision. So it's not just about quitting; it's about being transformed, so we can break the power of pornography. So, just want to encourage you on that. Again, check out freedom-coaching.net. Be honored to help you. And if this has been of benefit to you, please please share, please subscribe to our channel, and so we can go and get these messages out to the world. And until next time, I'm Steve Picorni, and this is the Redeemed.